Well, I mean, look, first of all, let's talk about John Bostock, shall we? You talked a bit about him last week. How pleased are you to have sorted a deal to keep him for a year and a half?
Yeah, so happy. I think that it speaks volumes for what the lads have done already to really play in such a great way that John has come and felt really positive about the club and about the group of players. So really delighted that he's with us now.
What do you like about him from a footballing point of view, first of all? We'll get onto his personality and what he adds off the pitch in a minute, but what about on the pitch? What do you like about him?
Well, I like that he can take the ball. Of course, we have the most possession in the league. We have the most passes in the league, and John is very comfortable. He wants to have the ball. He's comfortable anywhere in midfield to be able to take the ball. He can play really close with people and the intricate stuff, but he can open the game up. He can make big passes. He has like a wide range of of qualities with the ball. He has a real physicality as well that he can. We also have the meanest defence in the league at the moment, and it's very important that everybody is capable of defending in the correct manner as well. And John has all the capability to do that as well. So I think he fits what we're trying to do here this season very well.
Were you actively looking for somebody to play in that position in midfield, or has this sort of come along and it's too good an opportunity to miss out on?
Yeah, honestly, I try and very much to concentrate on working with the players at the club that we have and really focus all my energy on giving the guys the correct information and trying to plan all the training sessions, trying to plan ahead of time who I think is correct for each and every game. As you can imagine, there's a fair amount of work that goes into that. But fortunately for me, there are people that are spending their time, their hours in their day looking at opportunities and speaking to people about opportunities of players to come in. And there was a contact made, and it became a realistic possibility to get John in to train first of all and see how both sides felt about a possible permanent deal. And of course, when that is put to you as a head coach, it's really it's a great thing to be able to have that team of people that are really working to try and make these opportunities happen, and then we need to try and put on, a really good example of how we are day to day, how we work and how we train and how we interact with each other. And fortunately, John enjoyed being in with us, enjoyed training, enjoyed the interaction we have with the players after training, and so it was a very easy thing for me to support, of course, once John was brought into the club.
He said he'd had a few other interesting offers and a few, I think, abroad, and obviously had wanted to stay here. Are you surprised to be able to get a player of that calibre available? Considering he was playing League One just last season.
I'm just delighted, really. I think that it probably, like I said, I think it speaks volumes for the football that the players have played, because John will have looked at the way that the boys train. He's been to our games and he's watched us play, and he's enjoyed what he's seen and feels like it's a good fit for him. And of course, for us, it's we're delighted because we know that he has many offers, and he has opportunities to go, like you said, to different leagues around the world, and to stay in England and play for different clubs would have been, I'm sure, very interested in John and made him good offers. So we're delighted that he has seen his future being with us.
I wonder how. There's clearly a benefit on the pitch, and that's why you'd want to sign him. But there's a benefit off the pitch with him as well, isn't there? The huge experience that he's had through his career when he was a teenager, huge pressure on his shoulders back then. So I'm sure he can relate to some of the younger players having gone through what he has, and just the way he talks, the calmness that he has, the knowledge that he has, is a huge benefit off the pitch, isn't it, for you?
Absolutely, and you just said it there yourself. You've spoken to John, you've met him, and without it's not difficult. You can see the quality that he has as a person, and it's not difficult to track his career because you can find everything online, and John has done many interviews, and there's hours and hours of footage of John playing at a really good level of football, and you can go and watch interviews of other players talking about John Bostock because of the amount of experiences he had in the game, and he gives us added value because every player that is playing around John will benefit from his presence and from his personality. We've seen for example, Jim O'Brien with being a senior player in the group, and we've seen the benefit of Jim helping other players to perform really well, and performing well himself, but actually adding to other players, and that's something that is not easy to attain in football, and we have that scenario with John. He'll be able to help players in an incredible way, with his advice, with his calmness, with his words, understanding the right moment to speak to people, and understand how to help players play well on the pitch, because he has such a good experience, and all of those things are very difficult sometimes to see from watching, but of course we can see a brilliant pass or a brilliant piece of skill. We can see that, but inside the pitch and on the training ground, it's not always clear the influence that players have.
Just a couple of questions on the game this weekend, if I may. I mean, first of all, quite a few games have moved to earlier kick-offs to allow fans to be able to get back home and watch England in a World Cup quarter-final, which doesn't happen every year, of course. I just wonder how you feel about the fact that isn't going to be happening for Notts, and it's a long journey back, of course, for those that decide to make the journey down there this weekend.
Yeah, I think for us, we're not only interested. We're only interested in our game. We don't really care too much about anything else, the staff and the players. But of course, for the fans, we feel more. It's more difficult for the fans because, of course, they want to watch us and support us. But there's a great game it's going to be a part of history, and another World Cup. There's only 4 years, every 4 years, so we feel for the fans wanting to get back. It's a long trip, but for us, for the players and the staff, we really are only interested in our own preparation and getting the result that we need, and we try to catch the bits of the game afterwards.
And I just wonder what you make of Maidenhead as a club, a well-established National League club now. Of course, they've had a manager, a legend who's played for England himself, of course, at Alan Devonshire, a bit of a legend at West Ham as well. I just wonder what you've made of where they are now as a club, because they've sort of established themselves and sitting mid-table just at the moment.
Yeah, I think that they are going to steadily improve, I'm sure. And as you said, they've got a brilliant manager that has incredible experience and knows what top looks like. So I think that they're gonna steadily improve. They're well placed. There's a big catchment area of players that maybe don't quite crack it at a high level, but there's a lot of players in that area that they can try to attract to improve as they go along. So we know it's going to be tough, and it's a difficult place to go. Can be quite challenging. The pitch is, there's a bit of a slope on the pitch and things like that. You have to get used to that, and of course they're very used to that. So we're not taking anything for granted at all, and we know it's going to be a really tough game.
And just one eye on the weather, I guess, this week.
Yeah, we're concerned a little bit because we know the temperatures drop down below zero overnight, but we're hoping that they have some covers on the pitch and things like this to try to help get the game on, and hopefully the temperature warms up early enough in the morning to thaw the pitch out if it is frozen. But yeah, we're optimistic. Of course we're anxious a little bit to see how the weather is in the Saturday morning.
Christopher, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ollie, over to you.
Hi Luke, just following on from Dave's question there in regards to the weather this weekend, have you made alternative preparations just in case the game is called off this weekend?
Well, it's difficult to make preparation because we don't know when the game will be, called off, if it's going to be called off. We don't know when we travel, or the night before, or the morning. Probably, it can't be done until the morning of the game. Sometimes even, we've all been in those scenarios where it happens very, very late and the game is called off just before, you arrive at the ground, and this type of scenario. But, we want to do everything that we can to prepare that the game will go ahead. And if the game doesn't go ahead, we will have an idea about what we're going to do as a group of staff and try to make the appropriate plan of action then.
Looking ahead to this weekend, I know I've been asking you a lot, but Conor Rawlinson's fitness, I know you were awaiting scan results. I don't know whether you've got any more information on his injury and how long he might be out for.
Yeah, we have some good information that there's some fluid in the lower leg that needs to work its way out, really, and that's just nature will take its course, really. But Conor is, as you would expect with Conor, he's pushing himself in the right way and doing everything that he's being asked to do in the best possible way. So difficult to know exactly the timescale, but certainly we know it's not going to be like an ongoing issue. He just needs to recover from this, and there's nothing more sinister. So we'll probably have a better idea in like a week from now.
And obviously with his absence and the signing of John announced today, that offers you the chance to perhaps play Geraldo further back and give you that little bit of extra defensive cover. Is that something that you've been looking towards, given Connor's absence?
Well, I think at the moment I'm being very careful with Badge, because we don't have cover in the back line without Connor, and Badge is a very, very good, as we all know, he's a very, very good player, and he can play in several positions like very, very well. He's not like somebody that goes in and is covering, but is not that player's position. He doesn't have that problem. He can play on the right, the left, the middle, and of course we've seen him play in midfield at a very high level. So we're very fortunate with Badge. He's a fantastic addition to the squad, and so we have to be a little bit careful with him to make sure that we don't leave ourselves short with cover at the moment in the back line.
And then obviously Aaron, the man not involved in the squad again at the weekend, but positive to see him out running about the pitch before the game. Is it just a matter of time before he's back in the squad?
Definitely that. We have to make sure that with Aaron that he's right when he goes back in, because the type of actions that Aaron makes in the same way that Chicks and Toby make, the really explosive actions and really high tempo actions, and of course they need to cover the entire outside of the pitch. And there's some really big defensive duties that those guys have to do and cover huge distances in a short space of time. Luckily, they're all very, very quick and very explosive players, but we need to make sure with Aaron that he's right, and now he's in a very good place and he's training very, very well.
And then just finally from me, I know we spoke about it last week, but obviously with John's signing announced today, does that offer a little bit of an insight into what you're thinking about Frank Vincent's return? Obviously, I know you said that you're yet to make a decision on his future. I just wonder whether his signing has a little bit of implications into what you're thinking of come January. Yeah,
I think with a new midfield player coming into the club on a permanent deal, then of course it changes the landscape for several players, and Frank is one of those players. But also Frank is in a very good place and enjoying his football and playing very well. And so we have to take a view what is the correct thing for the player, what's the correct thing for the club as well. And in due course we will make a decision on Frank, and hopefully it will be the best one for ourselves and for him.
Perfect. Thanks for your time, Luke. I'll speak to you on Saturday.
Cheers, Ollie. Thanks, mate.
Notts TV, anything?
Yeah, just going back to John, if we can quickly. What sort of impressed you most, training with him, and how long do you think it'll be before he can get a position in the squad?
Well, he's very impressive. He has a range of skills. Like I said before, defensively he has the physicality, and he can read the game very, very well. He can play, you know, in the small, tight spaces, but he can also open the game up, and he has the range of passing and the power and the vision. So he's very much like a action man midfield player that can do several things very well. Then of course as a person is very strong personality. He's a very good professional, and he's gonna add a lot of things to the group. I've got no doubt of that at all.
And then just looking ahead, there's about 6 games I think in the next 3 weeks up until Boxing Day. Is that something that is a bit worrying fitness wise, and injuries possibly with not having too much depth in the squad?
Yeah, I think that we don't have like an enormous squad, but what we do have is players that can go in and do a very, very good job, as good as the player that they go in for, you know. And so I don't think we have to weaken the team, even if we make, like, you know, you look at the Eastleigh performance, we made 4 big changes before that game, and the players that went in done an incredible job, and we had a fantastic performance and won 2-0 away from home. So we have guys that can go in and play at a very high level, and of course, as you were talking about there with John, we have to see where his fitness is, because he didn't do too much so far this season. So we have to make sure that we know what place he's in. But then we have a number of midfield players that can rotate in and out the team, and we have to be really cute with that. We have to make the right substitutions at the right time, because the difference between playing 60 minutes of football and 90 minutes of football is huge. That difference is massive, and where the later the game goes on, the more your body suffers. So we have to make the right changes before the game. We have to make the right changes in the game, and use the squad in the correct way. And that's why we train. You know, we train together. Everybody's included in all the work that we do, and everybody understands their role if they go into the team. And now is going to be a challenging period where we have to get a lot of things right.